switch on? Oh,
It's on.
okay. Right, this is September 4th. It is 10:05. Call the meeting to order of the P&Z workshop. We have present myself, Philip Python, Jim Morhorn, excuse me, Teddy Harmon, just wait till Teddy gets here.
Okay.
Did you all get this though? You all got this, right?
I didn't.
Did you get this? Oh, we got it. We got this at the last meeting, I think, because I still got Richardson stuff attached to it. So you should have got it.
I wasn't at the last meeting.
You weren't at the last meeting. Yeah, because we had that small land to deal with. You were there, weren't you, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. You didn't get that?
I was in and out. Remember they had
Oh,
P&Z
right.
at the same time with,
Right.
I came in for a moment, I kept running back and
Yeah.
forth,
Okay.
but I don't have the paperwork.
Let me see if Sherry's here, see if she made some copies. You still here, Sherry?
I sent it to city on the 6th. See, but I didn't see.
I should ask me how many. Can I get all sets? Thank you. While we wait for Teddy to get here and we get this meeting officially going, this is supposed to be our last meeting, right? When do you want it on the council agenda?
Whenever you guys are ready to recommend it to the council.
Okay,
That's,
Yeah, this
that's
is
right.
right.
okay.
So the process at this point then would be us recommend
Yes, I
to
do.
council, and then the council accept it, and then we open it up for more public hearings
I
before.
think the public hearing is at the
That's
beginning of
correct.
the council meeting, so people can see it and look at it, and then the council will discuss it, and then,
Yes, I do.
I think we should have a hearing at a P&Z meeting.
Okay, well, when just before come by?
So that you guys
I couldn't hear you.
technically have a public hearing to give the public an opportunity.
No, I
to comment
don't,
before it goes to
just
council.
work out, as liver locally.
but this is a.
Okay, I'm at a meeting at City Hall actually, so just go and take
It
your
is,
questions,
but
give me a call
to have
back.
it
But you pick out a spot you
on
like,
the
just go and
agenda
take it, and there's no point to take.
as a public hearing and
Sounds good.
discussion action.
Thank you.
Thank you. Public hearing, discussion, and possible action on recommend, not action, but recommendation to council on adopting a future land use plan. That's how how I would have it on an agenda. And maybe nobody will show up. If you think people are gonna show up, then maybe come back.
Well, they've had a lot of input so far.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean,
Every one of these meetings has been open to the public and been conspicuous by their absence. And that's always the way. Until you go to the city council meeting and everybody's gonna say, well, we don't know nothing about this, wouldn't you tell us? Very apathetic.
yeah. I know we're not alone. My son had the phone last. The last Google search was, what was Vince Young's 40-yard dash time?
6.4, I think.
No, 4 and some change, probably.
4.8 or something like that.
Yeah.
4.58,
Really?
yeah.
Is
Young should have been faster than 4.8 on the 40.
4.58, I think. Yes, 4.58. City's office.
I'm sorry. It's pouring down rain. What?
Had a man,
I was gonna start with half started the meeting and
It's
then
over
decided to
here.
stop.
Chris was there.
You have one of these, you got this, right?
Yeah,
You do, okay.
yeah, okay.
Let's copy just in case you do. Okay.
We started.
What are you doing today?
I'm not coming back, I'm here. I'm not coming back, I'm here. I'm not coming to the offices. One for you, one for me.
Oh, okay. The warden.
Okay.
We're gonna have you start now?
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Planning and Zoning Commission, September the 4th, at now 5:17. And Mr. President, myself, Philip Whitehorn, Ted Harley, Ray Lambert, Jim Walwell. And we'll start with pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag.
Pledge allegiance
to Texas. State of God, one indivisible. This should be our final meeting tonight. We'll put together the proposal to have a public meeting and then put it in front of council. So, Chris, over to you.
Okay. Well, let me, because we were discussing a little bit before the meeting started what the process was for adopting the plan. I went ahead and pulled local government code relevant sections. So what it says that a comprehensive plan, which includes a future land use plan, may be adopted or amended by ordinance following a hearing at which the public is given the opportunity to give testimony, present written evidence, and to review by the municipality's planning commission or department of citizens. So what that means is you guys should should make a recommendation to, somehow make a recommendation to the council. Just state that you have reviewed this, you've been developing it, and you recommend adoption as it is, or with these amendments, et cetera. That is local government code, section 213.003. So that's the process. So we would schedule, when you guys are ready, when you think you're ready to recommend approval of the plan, then we will get a public hearing scheduled for the council agenda. That timing is entirely up to you guys. As far as what it is that they would be adopting, you would have an ordinance that would have some preamble and explain what the future land use plan was, that it was developed consistent with this, with state law, and it consisted of Exhibit A and Exhibit B. Exhibit A would be this text, and Exhibit B would be this plan. And that would be the ordinance, and they would need to adopt that by ordinance. That's the key. They can't, it needs to be by ordinance and not just, oh yeah, we adopt it by discussion and action as to the actual ordinance associated with it. So, city attorney should be familiar with that. I can provide a draft ordinance. In fact, I think I might have already done that for Cindy, but I also thought I left the maps here for the city's since we last met, what I did was put together, I didn't get any comments back on the map, so I cleaned it up the best I could based on where we were. We sent out, I know the PDF went out with the map in its current, best and most improved state, and so didn't any give me comments back, so I'm assuming that we're probably pretty close. If not, we're already there with how we want the map to function.
Right. I didn't see any problems with the map.
And here's the thing too, everybody, 3 months after you adopt a future land use plan, everybody realizes, oh, we forgot about this, we forgot about that, and they think it's all over. No, it's not a big deal. You bring it up and you can go through a process and amend it. It's just, that's how it works. When you just lay out your reasons why you think it needs to be amended. The text is there to kind of try and put into words a lot of the concepts that we've been through and a lot of the major policies, the major issues and how we want to address it. And so this is a statement of policy that the council needs to act on. And I just did my best to try and pull this together into some simple statements. I have 14 statements, policy statements. And then the latter portions describe, are intended to kind of walk you through the map. So you can say, okay, all right, for instance, I'm looking on page 3, residential areas. Well, I see areas of low density residential land use, and what we're looking at basically is less than 4 units per acre, so we know what we're talking about. Medium density residential land use, high density residential land use, et cetera, et cetera. So when you're considering a change to the map, and somebody says, well, I think this area should be industrial land use. Well, that's what we need to do is go back and read here and say, okay, does this fit? Is this are we talking about land that has access to existing or proposed major arterial, has access to a railroad, is relatively flat or gently sloping, will not negatively impact existing or proposed residential areas, and can be a relatively large amount of land, so little tiny pieces. So if somebody comes forward to you and Lodge is proposing something that's not consistent with that, then this is what you go back to and review and make a recommendation. And then similarly for the other land uses. The final thing on here is just a statement of the three annexation priorities. And I was just waiting on any comment on that before I went ahead and drew the annexation map up, which is really part of what the city's asking to do, is to do an updated annexation plan.
When I first read it, I went, when you spell that wrong one way, but when you read it, slow down and read it properly, that's really correct.
Okay.
So, it makes absolute sense to me. The first area is the annexes north to business 181.
To Richardson.
Get to where you are.
Can you go that far? Aren't you limited to the ETJ?
Well, you have to start your way out there. You can't just jump out there and do it, but you start your way out there and you have to progress.
How do you, if we go to
You did
the edge of our
answer my
ETJ now, how many miles can we go?
ETJ?
Your ETJ right now, I think, is a mile.
Okay. So we never go a mile at a time? That needs changing.
Well, every time you do it, every time you annex, you increased,
Another.
you've increased another, you know, if you annex a tract that's 500 foot long, you can annex it and extend your ETJ another 500 feet, and then you pick up. You've got to carry yourself
What
out.
we're saying,
What we're saying is that
where's Wally
here's Walmart right
Oh,
here.
okay. Move your hand. We need to be up here where Richardson's
Mhm.
coming in.
Mhm.
So what we were thinking of doing is going this way, and then, because it's gotta be contiguous,
Mhm.
and going, you know, along the road like this, and then pop over and pick up Richardson. Theirs is voluntary.
Well, okay, and I'm just gonna speak hypothetically here, not about anybody's plans to annex, but hypothetically, you could request annexation here.
Where are you at? I ain't going there.
That ain't gonna work. Okay. So yeah, so we annex over here, and then,
It would be, this is, yeah, I think it would be easier to get this done, so we can get Richardson, then we
You-
can do the 2-year deal to get the other side.
you can,
Because we don't have to put any infrastructure on that
So we can legally annex the opposite side of the highway from Richardson and then jump across.
side.
That's what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
go along this one,
you just, you
go
annex the
along
right
this
of way at the
way,
same time.
and then go across.
You want to annex the right of way at the same time.
Okay, so the city has asked you to do what?
To do an annexation, a 3-year annexation plan.
Only 3 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we type everything from here to here and do it right.
That's what I was
All right,
asking,
but-
can we go that far?
But
Can we
if
just-
we do that. If we can, that would be good.
You can also, another thing you can do is offer, don't jump ahead, it's a non-annexation agreement. You can offer a non-annexation agreement to property owners. So let's say you have somebody, especially if they're ag,
Mhm.
you can say, hey, look, we know you're ag and you want to stay, keep your ag exemption for a while, but we want to be able to work our way out over here and for our annexation plan. How about we enter into an agreement where we won't annex you until until you're ready to develop. And at that time, the utilities would be available, but in the meanwhile, we're able to, because we have this agreement with you, we're able to come to the outside
Use them in
boundary and use
opportunities.
them. So,
I was wondering if there was any type of tax abatement or something like that to offer. You voluntarily let us annex you, we'll give you 2 years city tax abatement. Can you negotiate like that?
you can,
If you
but
wanted?
you can if you wanted to, if you.
You can still have ag use inside the city.
There's one?
You can still have ag use
Oh, I know,
inside the city.
but I was thinking on this other side, going up, just going straight up Walmart, which we don't have to. We can go across the road, go up, and then,
You're thinking both sides, what do you want?
like, no, just the east
Walmart
side,
side?
the other side.
So,
Because McCoy's, you pick up where McCoy's is, and just go up there till you get where Richardson's gonna be, and then jump across. So that it's
Contiguous.
yeah.
yeah, this is the most confusing part of the statute.
Well, why miss all those ones from
Because they're,
Van Winkle and all that?
because we can annex them, but it takes 2 years.
Yeah.
If we get voluntary, it's immediate. And I'm thinking the ag people would probably be more, they don't have that much
There's no infrastructure.
taxability.
I'm sure you have, who has the corner they're cleaning up right now? Before Hughes?
Where, catty corner from Walmart?
Yeah,
I don't know, but they're doing something over there.
yeah. And then after that it's Hughes, all the way down to the
And then the Tractor Supply, and then Ullman.
Tractor Supply, then the old Oman place, Jalu, and you cut across Richardson's.
My thoughts are, they're not gonna suffer the taxes like they would on the other side, so they might volunteer.
Yeah.
The other side, we gotta do it for 2 years, you gotta go in there, do it, tell them you're gonna do it.
Annexation is its own whole workshop and meeting. Because we have to strategize a little bit so that we do it. And all we want to do is do it consistent with the law. That's all we're trying to do,
Exactly.
is do it consistent with the law. So we're not trying to pull anything over anybody. But there may be different approaches that we take with different property owners based on where they are in their.
My thoughts are, these people on here are gonna volunteer the annexation. These might, because it isn't, they're ag exempted, it shouldn't really affect them that much.
So if you're going for the city a 3-year, excuse me, annexation plan, is that something you're doing with us, or are you doing it? How's that working?
I don't know that we got into that.
Is this an extra amount you're going to be billing them?
No, this is included in the total,
Oh, it is?
the total contract that we have. This
Okay.
is, but the phase one was doing this one. The phase two was a little assistance with the zoning ordinance, and then phase three was putting together the annexation plan. Yeah, anyway, I have to read this 20 times every time.
Yeah.
I do it.
Be sure you
Just to think you
read
get
it
it
right.
right.
Yeah. But,
Okay. So that's not something we need to go into today?
no, I think when we do go into that, we need to sit down with a tax parcel map. So we see exactly what the parcels are, and we talk about how we get from A to B, and what the plan for doing it is. Either it's we set up a annexation plan, complete the facilities inventory and service plan. Or we talk about non-annexation agreements that allow us to expand our ETJ.
Like the sound of that.
And that tends to, especially when people are worried about maybe a neighboring community getting out to them that may not have the same values, may not have a plan,
Right.
may not have effective zoning. They want to know that they're going to be part of a community that's
Got their act
got
together.
their act together.
I agree, yeah.
You guys want to, I don't know that everybody had a chance to look at it. I sent this out. I don't know that everybody had a chance to review and have a chance to comment since
I got some comments in the car, I'll go swig some in a minute.
Or get some water.
I have some coffee.
I have
in my
pneumonia.
cart.
Some of yours is Jack Daniels.
Probably what I want is a couple of stiff vodka, so.
I don't have any vodka.
Totally said, yeah.
Yeah, this was sent out by email.
Did you get it, Rob? Okay.
Yeah, so you all got it somewhere. And I've read this, and I haven't even told Cindy about it.
And this is the thing, you guys can say, you know, Chris, you totally missed this. We talked about this at least 20 times. We need to get this idea in there. How do we do that? Or, you know, I was thinking, we didn't talk about this at all, but it probably belongs in here. That's where it's here. So that's how we can insert it. We can organize this. You know, a lot of times communities will want to organize these into different thematic areas. And I didn't think
Yes.
I think given the fact that this is our first land use plan.
Okay.
And we're trying
Don't do
to
anything yet to,
keep it fairly straightforward.
everything changes.
Just a list of 14 right now, kind of summarizing it, so.
Yeah.
Just sit that for a minute.
I didn't have a problem with this, I read it through, and,
How about that?
So,
I thought it was sufficiently, this is a contradiction, but detailed but vague. to
Vaguely
get-
detailed?
Yeah, vaguely detailed, that it allowed us a lot of room to maneuver from those statements.
Exactly what we need. It's not, we're not.
We don't want to tie ourselves.
We
don't
can't
wanna
tie ourselves
right.
because we don't know exactly what's going to happen in the future, but we do know certain things. And we set them, you know, we established it, establish those as facts and things that are good for the city. And then when they come up as an application or an inquiry or proposal, development proposal, we come back to it and read it and discuss it and see if it makes sense or not. That's the whole point. The whole point is you have a touchstone to come back to.
Shouldn't the vision statement be on here? Because it says draft on top there.
Yes.
I think it should go on top there, but because it sets out the
Yeah.
purpose of this. I've looked at the map, and I've gone over with Cindy, how we're going to implement some of the changes, particularly on these arterial roads, is
gonna make this easy compared to what we're going to in the future. And it's getting county to go along, and it's gonna be difficult. But it's still a plan. You can't do anything without a plan.
We're better off, well, at some point you have to take a step forward.
Right.
And know that somebody may want to correct you or move you in a different direction, and that's fine. And
That's also
we
fine.
expect
If they've got a better suggestion, then
then we go.
that's what we need to do.
And how the projects, money actually gets prioritized, that's up to city council, that's up to commissioners court, to determine that we're gonna work on this segment of this road, and we're gonna participate X amount of dollars with this project, or we're gonna issue bonds for this project. What have you. They've got a place on paper. We just always check first with, okay, this is what we said we were gonna do with the plan. Does this still make sense? Or, yeah, we've been talking about this in our plan. We need to go ahead and do this as well if we don't also prioritize capital projects at the same time.
Well, it's gonna be interesting. I'm looking forward to getting it. I don't see any problem with the city council. I think it's a sensibly devised growth plan. It's not radical at all. It's easy to manipulate, and I mean that in the nicest sense. So I don't see any problems with it going forward. Implementing it, that's also a big part of the money.
You know, your primary tool for implementing a land use plan are your zoning ordinance and your subdivision ordinance. We're gonna, you guys really should think about making some adjustments to the zoning ordinance so that you don't have it be, it's called, pyramid.
Weren't you gonna do that with?
I'm gonna help you, yeah. I'm just alluding to it here so that when we do it, it's consistent with what we're talking about. It's number 12.
Okay.
I'm kind of hinting there at some ways to deal with it.
Explain to me the difference between urban zoning and
Okay.
what you're suggesting.
For instance, let's say let's say if we took your zoning districts and we stacked them up from the least intensive through to the most intensive, say it's a business 5. If you restrict the least intense to single-family residential, and then by the time you get here to, multifamily residential, you can have single-family duplex, multifamily. By the time you get to like a B1, then you're allowed to capture anything that's in below it.
Okay.
And what happens is you can have a very valuable piece of property that's, this is just one possibility, something that's strategically important to you. And if it's zoned, it's zoned maybe B5 because we want a lot of business opportunity there. We need the sales tax, we want the visibility, blah, 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 and that's part of our plan. But if we have cumulative zoning or pyramid zoning, then somebody can go in and put a duplex in. Or they can put up a single-family home and lock
Which
up.
screws the whole purpose of what we're trying to do.
Right.
It's
So that's the,
So what do you call it without it being a
If
pyramid,
it's not pyramid zoning,
standalone,
it's called,
individual?
we call it Euclidean zoning, or
How do you
standard
spell
district
that?
zoning. Yeah, don't worry about it, it's not gonna be on the
you
list.
see,
EUCLIDIAN.
yeah.
And it gets its name from the original zoning case that was, went before the Supreme Court back in 1926, or 1922.
That will be.
That will be on the test, I should know that
Yeah.
one. But,
So
but,
with that Euclidean zoning, if that becomes a B5,
Mhm.
that means they can't put
Anything less.
anything less than that?
they can put, it's, if you're gonna be strategic, which we need to be, I really think you guys need to be, if we're gonna be strategic about it, we need to have districts that accomplish what we want. We need to have like a regional retail district that is really set up for regional retail uses, like Walmarts and Home Depots and those guys. We need to have a district that allows, a separate district that allows for commercial services, things with a lot of open storage, and keep the two of those separate a little bit, so you have some more control. Otherwise, you're gonna have an entire corridor that fills up with outdoor storage of machinery and equipment. So you think about, where does the retail need to go? It needs to go at the intersections, at the places of high visibility.
Right.
Mhm.
Obviously here, absolutely, we need retail. We need to maximize that gateway. Same thing here, same thing here. But the districts need to be designed to try and accomplish a purpose and protect those uses that are permitted in the district. You know, there's some cities will have made the mistake of opening up their business districts even a little bit too broad, and they end up with large retail, big box, across the street from single-family developments. And that causes a lot of tension.
Sounds
Then the
like.
newspapers start showing up, or somebody's.
Is that what he said?
He's busy, he's not watching tonight.
Did that get?
It's still up in the air. I don't think I think that's able to get more times than they want.
So that's what I think you get, and that's kind of what I think you need to do with your zoning ordinance, is really kind of separate things out as opposed to making just one hopper that anything can kind of fall into by the time you get out to your business districts, which
Okay.
is, that's what my recommendation is going to be.
How much time do you have to spend on the ordinances in order to adjust them, change them?
Just a day or so.
Really?
I think so. I mean, for my recommendations, and you guys may come to me and say, well, we still want to address this or that, and I can help you from there, but I think it's pretty clear what we need to do. I'll just make some suggestions. And it's probably not going to be comprehensive, there's probably more stuff that should be done, and if you haven't updated your ordinances in a while, you get into things like, I haven't looked at it in a while, but regulation of churches, regulation of alcohol sales, regulation of daycares, regulation of pawn shops, those kind of things can be tricky because of new federal law, things that have come up in the last decade. And if you haven't updated your zoning in the last decade, then they're probably going to be problematic.
That sounds like a whole new headache.
It could be a new headache, yeah. The big one is the regulation of churches, so we gotta be really careful about that, because that's a First Amendment issue, and,
What do you mean by regulation of churches?
a church, by federal law, can go anywhere that it wants. And so there's a little trick to being able to make sure that the churches don't come in and take over entire neighborhoods.
That's a whole nest of words there.
Oh, yes.
So a Muslim church can go anywhere?
We don't care. We don't care if it's Muslim, if it's Jewish, if it's Protestant, Catholic. We don't care if it's religion. What we care about is that it's assembly. Because our interest in zoning, based on this law, is in lessening congestion and crowded streets and public health, safety, welfare. The practice of religion, the right to assemble, those are constitutional issues, and we're not trying to mess with those.
Right.
So we regulate the simple fact of assembly, and we look at things like the square footage of the building, the size of the parking, the anticipated parking lot based on the size of the building, whether it's located adjacent to an arterial or collector level street, that kind of thing. So there's,
So the church can go anywhere they want
Yeah.
to.
as an assembly use, it can go anywhere it wants to, it just may be limited in how big it can be.
Mm.
That's what I tell my pastor every time. I don't think I'm much different.
I don't know, it's sometimes easy to guide sheep. It's, tell them where they can go is another thing.
Well, I mean, that's the reality of zoning too, is you can tell people that they can't go there. But you can only tell people that they can't go there if the zoning isn't in place for it. And you can deny them a change in the zoning. I'm talking if you guys are the council. But the council can deny them a request to change the zoning if it's not consistent. You can do that, and it's doable.
And I sure wish we had this in place before the snow.
And that's next week, right? Next week.
And I guess that's the question that I would ask, is that though it's not in place, it's something that will be in place, can we even consider this?
I want to check that with the city attorney. We have to go back to the first date that he went in front of the P and Z and apply the rules that were in place there. Unfortunately.
I'll tell you, I think of something.
Okay. Well, I'm comfortable with this. I'm pretty comfortable with this if we have the vision statement. What about you guys? You all comfortable with this?
I looked at the map when we got the PDF on it, and while I had not been to the meeting, we discussed the final version of the map. Discussed it, this was okay.
Like you said, this is not written in stone.
Yeah, yeah.
If we've done something wrong, we can go, okay,
Yeah.
put a bump in there.
I would not be surprised, and frankly, nothing would make me happier than if you guys called me 6 months from now and said, hey, Chris, we forgot to, we have this came up, how should we handle it? And I can just tell you over the phone, well, add a section here, change your map here. I'll do that.
Okay.
And I think you're gonna see more and more commercially on this over there as we move down the street
Yeah.
in time.
This whole business of Floresville has changed so much in the last 5 years. And it's changing on a daily basis now.
And there's a lot going on as we speak
Tremendous
today.
amount going on. And it's going to change the type of structure that, the big rush was train parks and motels. The next big rush is going to be infrastructure for offices.
Yeah, brick and
distribution
mortar.
centers, brick and mortar. And we need to be ready for that. I think with this, I think we are.
Just looking at some of the numbers, the occupancy stuff, could be along, so, hotel occupancy numbers will go down.
Right. It's like you take a big breath before it really rolls. I think it's very inevitable, particularly with that stage two. People will show when they've got the technology to get that. It's just it was maybe 2 years, I think.
They've already done some test stuff there now.
Yeah.
And they're liking it.
Yeah.
What about, you heard anything about the voodoo?
The voodoo's actually higher than the deal. And that was all hit a long time ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was under the understanding it was. under-
Voodoo was just below the chalk. Because a lot of people bought old chalk wells. I actually bought old voodoo wells, and when they put it in rich blood, come back and put it frack the chalk. Have a rainfall. Work like a champ.
Okay. What do we need to do next, Chris? I'm comfortable to proceed as we are. I'd like to get it moving.
Okay.
I'd like to get it in front of council.
Okay.
So we're not gonna really know people's feelings until we get it in front of the city council.
Yeah.
And they're gonna say, well, we should have done this, this, and this. Which is really what my wife said, we said, everybody else to tell me the first half, you know, but
Who's gonna be the staff person leading the item to the council?
well, I do you.
Probably, Cindy, yeah.
I would send it.
So,
And then, you know, I don't know if you know, she's sick today.
yeah.
Excuse me one second. That's why this-
Obviously, do you have an interim city manager?
Yes, yes, I do. And that was Reggie, I think he came in and said he was going, it was Reggie, that was, he's the interim on, and I think they're doing interviews now.
We're doing an interview now, and at least from what I've heard, intends to finish up the interviews tomorrow night, and possibly announce their selection.
Good.
And expect to have one person on March.
That's perfect. What I understand, the number one candidate is from out of state. I like that. I don't want any more. Some of these brothers and sisters are rules of favors of this guy and that guy, being a city manager.
There's a, yeah, we're digressing from the agenda. There was a survey done, in Australia. There pretty much shows that there's a fixed pool of qualified city manager candidates. And that's why you see the musical chairs.
That's what we're doing.
There's not that many people who are qualified and have the experience to do the job. So,
That's,
There's the also healthcare diagnosis system, 3 hospital systems, fixed pool of nurses, we make signing rules, and the nurses just move around the 3 hospitals, and they're a year and a half, they will move, because of the signing rules that we have to keep in place.
So, to answer your question though, going forward to council, we got to pick a date. And, I would really, my preference is really that you guys make a formal recommendation. So in one of your regular meetings, make a formal recommendation that we adopt the plan.
Pretty much, yeah. The council's already, some of the council's already, we have first for, said we don't want to do it, they want us to commit.
So I don't know how the timing works on that.
well, we need to get our next meeting, probably, maybe even on Monday, but we will formally propose and accept.
I'll give you some recommended language for the agenda item. our public hearing as part of that,
Yeah.
part of that agenda item, just so that anybody who might come would have, they'd have an opportunity to speak. Not that you wouldn't otherwise, not that there hasn't been.
Yeah, excited, right?
Participation tonight.
But when we're writing the ordinance that adopts it, we're writing out the preamble of how we lay out our public purpose, included here, that we have a public hearing on this day. I will be more than happy to work with Cindy to prepare the item. And going to council, work with you guys. I will add the vision statement and send this back.
Okay, thank you.
And then that will be what we take forward to your next P&Z.
I will have Cindy get with you. If not by the end of this week, early next week. Because I don't see any point, we've done all the hard work now, this is done. We just finish this off a little bit, and then let's get it